Hi guys, welcome back. I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to my daily reflections on things that really matter, things that can boost your life and propel you to the next level of living more fully, more excitedly, and at a higher speed and exploring your own boundaries. Okay, let's get started. Let's talk about the role of relationships in our life. If we want to live our best life, if we want to feel like we are really fulfilling our purpose, that we are living at the highest possible speed that we have, so that we are fulfilling our potential in the best possible way. So, and what is the role of relationships, meaning personal, intimate, romantic relationships in this? It is clear and obvious that in the past few hundred years, relationships have really been exalted as the highest form of happiness, and we can clearly see this today in all through movies, through media, through social media, all the wedding industry, all these wedding videos on YouTube of super happy couples and tears and all that. And in social media, whether it be on YouTube or TikTok, you have all these couples channels, and it is still implied that being in a couple is somehow of a success status. Your status in society is higher. It is assumed that you are a happier human being if you are in a relationship, and that somehow you have gotten it and your life is complete. Of course, if you also have a good career, if you have managed that as well. But it seems like the implication is that if you're single, there's still something lacking, that you're still looking for something, that you still haven't quite figured things out, and that you're not completely happy. And you cannot be completely happy because something is missing. I don't know about you, I have been guilty of feeling those things, of giving in to these social ideas. And of course, if we want to live our best life, we really have to question everything that society is doing. Yes, relationships provide certain things to people. They satisfy certain needs, such as sexual needs, and depending on your personality, perhaps even your gender, some of these needs may be more important than others. Needs of just being around someone, watching a movie, eating dinner. For example, those are needs that I personally don't really have, but I have heard people really emphasize them. And it's just not to be alone, and so on and so forth. Raising a kid and all this kind of stuff. Wow. The question is, do you really need to be in a standard relationship to fulfill all these needs? And I will argue that you don't have to. There are other ways to fulfill a lot of these needs, and not all of them, in different ways than in being in a relationship. So I feel like we have to become more flexible, and we have to change the paradigm of what it is possible in our lives, because until now it has been considered that all these things you get in a romantic monogamous relationship. But there are other ways, such as for example, the needs for communication and being with others. You can get that through friends. Even the need to, to just to touch and all of that. I mean, you can literally, if you have animals, you have that physical contact with them where you're petting them and you're feeling this. There are different ways to satisfy also sexual needs through casual contacts, and you can, pay for that service. The idea is that If we are hung up, if we on the framework that in order to be happy we have to be in a relationship, then we're really limiting ourselves. Because yes, so there's a lot of famous so for example Ryan Holiday, famous writer and journalist, and athletes, they say how their significant other has immensely boosted their career and so on. But how many people does this happen to? And also there are many ways and reasons why for somebody getting into a serious relationship might be more challenging than to those heteronormative people. I mean, you can be part of the LGBTI community, which in many countries makes your relationships much more challenging, and that's a huge topic in itself. You can have some other, in a way, debilitating illness or something that somehow makes your social contacts a little bit more difficult. So there are many things, so not everybody is a able-bodied heterosexual person, born in a certain parts of the world where finding mates is particularly easy, doesn't come with huge efforts. So if we want to live our best lives, I feel that we always have to be solution oriented. We have to find solutions to issues, and we have to march to the beat of our own drums rather than to what society says. Not to mention that being in a relationship and satisfying these needs is a good thing, is a normal thing, but to consider these needs as the highest level of satisfying these needs at the highest level of happiness, to consider having sex and cuddling with someone that you have an emotional attachment to consider the satisfaction of these needs as the highest form of happiness is just ridiculous to me. First of all, because that means that you either have the happiness or you don't. So you either super happy or you have to be depressed because you don't at this moment have a way to satisfy these needs. That's number one. And number two, that would mean that our limit, that the highest possible experience that we could have is on the physical and on the emotional level. I'm just thinking of this song of Marilyn Monroe from I don't know how many years ago, where she sings, "I wanna be loved by you," and something about, I forgot exactly how the song goes, but something about I couldn't aspire to anything higher than to be kissed by you. That's the song. But so is that the deepest possible pleasure that we can feel, like sexual and emotional connection? I mean, that's just ridiculous, because it's really, really not true. Anybody who has meditated, even, like me, just by themselves and so on, I'm not talking about being a guru or being in the Himalayan caves for 30 years, but just, meditating on a regular basis. And anybody who has been in nature and who has, sort of had a little bit more transcendental experience, sometimes with the help of certain plants and so on, you would know that you have touched certain realities that are much deeper and more intense than these pleasures that we have been discussing so far. And even enlightened teachers talk about the fact that somebody like Sadhguru, there's a lot of videos of him talking on YouTube where he says that, the yogis and those kinds of people, that the pleasures they feel are much, much, much deeper and more intense than the physical and the emotional one. I cannot say that I have gotten to these super deep levels, but I believe my whole being I can feel with my whole being that there is so much more than physical and emotional relationships, not to mention that these are grounded in this kind of extroverted sort of social framework of the human being, where the best thing is to be social, that we are social beings, and extroverted. And I think it's a tragedy if you're, as a human being, the only way you can be is constantly with other people, that you cannot be alone. And again, I feel there's a stigma towards people who spend time alone, who are loners, and so on. But I think that is so necessary if you really want to explore your own mind, separate, because you have to separate yourself from the rest to really explore your mind, not constantly be in a collective sort of egregor. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word. And so I am sure that being in a long-term relationship makes life much easier, because your basic I would even say animal needs are satisfied, because part of us is an animal, because social needs and physical needs are, they're still animal needs. But if you limit yourself to say, I need this to be happy, then you're really putting yourself in that box. I'm curious to hear what people think about it. If you have been able to find this kind of deep sense of peace and excitement with life, and who knows, maybe even happiness, while you are not necessarily partnered and going about your life and traveling and following your dreams and casually dating people and so on and so forth. Let me know in the comments, and have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Should've looked good in the moonlight. This pussy nigga so bad, my